Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let's get this thing started. It's your boy, Mr. Jared White, up here for another episode of the Not Your Enemy Speak Out sessions. This time, I have the honor and privilege of actually interviewing my co-host, my co-creator, my co-owner of the Not Your Enemy brand, Miss Shannon Reynolds. Shannon, welcome.
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to your speak out session. I am really honored to do this with you. You did mine during my birthday, and it's only right that we flip the roles here and flip the script. And we talk about you a little bit. I have watched Shannon grow into such a beautiful, gorgeous woman. She's always been so beautiful to me, and always has had such a great light that she has always brought into any room and in any scenario. And I've watched her. I called Shannon boss lady for such a long time because when we worked together on radio back in our college days, she was my general manager. So she's always been my boss lady, and I was always so happy to follow her lead. And I've seen her just grow into a successful businesswoman with visionary, creative concepts and branding. A wonderful mother and a soon-to-be wife. So Shannon, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks.
And we always kick this thing off with how has the current social climate affected you?
I feel like not your enemy. You know what I mean? I feel like the conversation kind of happened around the frustration and the anger of seeing so many of the same stories over and over again. And I think it just kind of reached a head because I felt like, I don't know, the Black community itself after George Floyd, it was just like visceral. You know what I mean? It's like, where do you scream? Where do you like release that frustration? And to me, I think it was a culmination of a lot of things. I, at that point in life, for me personally, I had just had a lot of experiences of discrimination that I didn't understand as discrimination at the point. It was just kind of like, I'm used to it because you're Black. You got to work twice as hard. You got to, be underpaid for a long period of time. So it was just a frustration of like, why do we as Black people have to continue to lose our lives, to be treated in such a way? And so I just became bold and was speaking out on social media. I don't, before it was like, I'm never going to post anything on Facebook. I got coworkers. I'm not trying to, hurt anybody's feelings or get into
Mhm.
arguments because
And even when things were like really happening, you weren't engaging at that time, right? Like,
no, I just kind of was like, speaking about it amongst my family and things of that nature. I wasn't, posting much on social media in regards to what was happening because, again, you look at where you are if you work in corporate America. If you're, you don't want to rock that because that's a whole nother thing. But I even remember I posted something whenever Beyonce did the Super Bowl, right? And she did the Black Panther homage.
mhm,
I thought that was amazing.
incredible.
Posted I posted that on my social media.
Yeah.
Like it was Black History Month. I'm like, shout out to Black History Month, Black Panther movement, blah blah blah. Can I tell you the uproar that happened on my page that I didn't even know what to do? This white woman who was
Wait,
a
I didn't even know this. Because I remember you telling me about something social media, but I didn't know it was over this Beyonce post.
oh, there was a lot of stuff on social media, but this was something that I don't even think I talked about to anybody. It was just kind of like I was so shocked.
Okay.
But she was a white police officer. We were I'll say associates. We went to the same gym together, and she felt um uh, you know emboldened to go on my page and basically have a rant on my page and said, well, if she is, the Black Panther movement is they're terrorists. They were terrorists, and if Beyonce is the support of this is, she shouldn't be hiring police for escorts. This is, just very like
Mhm.
this rhetoric on my page. And then, people, my aunt, like people were just chiming in, and it was and I was like, first of all, like I was interested because I was like, are we really here? Are we really doing this on my page? And I was like, well, and I said a couple of things, but I wanted to hear her say. Then she started getting disrespectful to my aunt, and I was like, well, this is my.
Mm.
And I think I flashed back to that moment. And I was kind of disappointed in myself that I wasn't as vocal as I feel like I should have been.
Right.
That I just no longer felt the need to hide behind, what I thought my white or coworkers felt about whatever, because this is my life. This is where I live. This is who I am. I'm Black and I'm affected
Mhm.
by these things. So I think it just impacted me where it's like I'm just done and I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm gonna speak out
Right.
on any platform I want to. And if there's repercussions for it, so be it.
Right, and not have to deal with the ignorance of people who
Right.
don't know and don't know their history. I didn't know that it was over the a Beyonce post.
It was over Beyonce post and it was like I literally wish I could find it, but I just think I was so like it just shocked me because it was my page. Like you don't
Right,
have to look at it.
right,
Oh
and
yeah.
even then you was creating a platform because people was talking about it, you started a conversation about something,
Yeah.
and look at you, and 5 that was like 5 years ago now,
Mhm.
that happened. So you're not just not your enemy. You're also the owner and founder of Mom Be Well, and I would love to hear you talk about that a little bit because I think people are starting to associate you with just this not your enemy brand, but Shannon does so much outside of this that I would love people to hear more about.
So Mommy Well is actually how me and you first connected about Not Your Enemy because I was like, I have a mom. It's really a mom blog, just with mom realness and mom love. That's kind of what it was founded on, because I felt like after having my child, like no one really was honest. I think
Mhm.
that people, and maybe they don't want to scare you or whatever, but when you have conversations with mom, they're like, oh, it's this, and they talk about the great things and they talk about a broad spectrum, but very specific things that like I experienced. I'm like, ain't nobody tell me that. Tell me this. And then when you talk to mom, like, oh, you didn't know, girl? Well, no,
Mm,
because you didn't tell me. You didn't share that with me. So it was more a thing of having a platform that was a safe space where we could talk about, or I could talk about the good, the bad, and everything in between. I don't want to say bad, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows every day. That's not what motherhood is. I don't think that's what life is at all. It's not all great. And I personally am a person where I want to any of my friends that don't have kids, I will be honest with you. You ask me a question, I will I will tell you the honest truth, whether you think that's good, bad, or that scares the shit out of you. Um, I think that that's kind of where I am, and that's what I would have preferred if I was in that instance. So, Mom Be Well started off with just like feeling lost.
mm,
I was like depressed. I was anxious and I had no outlet and I had no I was feeling all these things and when I was talking to people they weren't, sometimes they were not parents themselves. So it was like, girl, you just go over there, you know what I mean? And so I was talking to mom, I'm like, oh girl, like that's nothing. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
have
and
the
not getting that support.
yeah, you have moms that are used to it, but you don't have the new moms that are like, so it was kind of like I felt like it was lacking in a conversation. It was lacking in a platform, or you felt judged if you
Mm,
felt some type of way. And I wanted to create a safe space for moms to not feel judged. I wanted to create a safe space for moms to be celebrated because it's very often that you feel like you're failing. You're anxious. You're like, oh my God, I ruined my child for today, by doing something as simple as giving them McDonald's or I yelled at there's certain things when you're a new mom that you have to navigate through those feelings. And I wanted to just create a platform where one, you're reminded that you're a good mom, you're doing the best that you could possibly do with whatever circumstances you have, you're celebrated. But let's talk about some real stuff that moms go through.
Well, why do you think women aren't sharing these stories or um, just passing some of these traits along? Because I feel like that would be the next, best thing. Like there is no handbook to parenthood. There's no handbook to adulthood. We like to believe that there is. So, why don't you think that people are just like passing these little nuggets along?
Um, no, I mean, because I think that when you find out that you're pregnant, it's never I don't think it's like proper to be like, well, girl, you in for some shit. um, but also I think that people it's a judgment thing, right? I feel like people fear, afraid of being judged.
Mm,
I think we live in a world where that is a thing. Like I'm afraid of being judged. So like even my first go at like just sharing my videos and stuff, I was so nervous. I was like, I don't want to say faking it, but I was like, or when I had a bad day, I'd be like, I was filtering my mouth because I was like, well, if I say this, someone's gonna think this, or if I say this, or even when I did like a quick video on like discipline, I was like, I gotta watch what I say
mm,
because everyone disciplines their children differently, and I don't want to be judged. And you just have. I think when you become a parent, it just becomes an overwhelming thing of like, I don't want to mess up. I don't, I birthed the human. Now I'm like, this is whatever I teach them is how they're going to grow out into the world. So I think that people are very wary of giving advice sometimes. And I think that once you get into motherhood, like you said, oh, you make it look so easy. I'd be struggling, but I think when moms get that way, it's like they don't always think of advice. They're like, okay, well that's a phase. You'll be over it. It's never like you're in it. You remember how it feels. Let's talk about your emotions. I think people, it's kind of like when someone says, hey, how are you? Oh, good. Okay, see you later. You know what I mean? It's this very like surface level conversations, and that's not what Mom Be Well is. And Mom Be Well is like, okay, let's get some honesty in there. Be honest.
Um, ladies, she's laying down a Bible, and laying down some a platform or and a resource for people to go and just get that because it's important that we are sharing these stories with everyone and women and especially black women. This
Right.
is a task of raising these young black men and women, boys and girls, into black men and women, and you need as much support as possible. And a lot of that is on us brothers to step up and support you guys, but supporting each other as well, and just having that community, uh, especially for us young black boys and girls, is really important. Um, so, Mom Be Well, I yes, that's how we started this whole conversation and led down to Not Your Enemy. I was supposed to be designing shirts for actual Mom Be Well.
Yeah, I wanted to give like fashion makeovers for moms. I wanted to give them some love, and
But I didn't know that. I thought we were talking about t-shirts.
we did. I was like, oh, because I was like, oh, maybe we could do. Because I'm like, well, that was the beginning of COVID, so I was like, how can I flip this? I'm like, maybe if we do like we design like cute outfits that are like cute and fashionable for moms because we are always on the go. Like you've seen what I wear, like my hair is always up in a bun. I never, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, well, what do you think about this? And then it turned into like, I don't even remember how it like turned into like not your enemy and like, but again, social climate and what was happening in the world. We were just talking and I was like, but that was a goal of just I wanna love on moms, man, because
Yeah.
I understand how hard it is to be a mom. And I that was the goal, but
And
not
I
your
would
expanded from that.
yes, and let's please revisit that. And
Yes.
because I think there is something there now, and I'm like, oh, got it.
Yeah, it was I it totally was like 8,000 ideas in my head, but that was a definite like initial conversation and I was like,
I
okay,
see
we're
this
here.
being
Yeah,
another.
another business. It's fine.
Tell us about what inspires you. Like I said, I've been knowing you for years now, and you've always leveled up every time, and that I've known you, and I've seen you uh wear so many hats. So, what encourages you and inspires you to keep going to that next level?
Um, so this is gonna sound really weird, right, for some people because people don't understand this. And I'm working on it in therapy because it kind of comes down to people pleasing and being
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with it. But I thrive and I'm inspired off of other people, right? So like if we talk, this has happened plenty of times. I'm inspired by helping other people succeed, right? To the point where I'll put myself on the back burner. Like, you gotta go, let's get it. But that encourages me. That gives me more energy when I see like people I love, people that I feel like have great ideas. If I see them win, that gives me more like, I gotta keep going, let's go, let's go. And that's where visionary creative concepts came. It was like, how do I monetize the help I'm giving people and the creative ideas I give people and things of that nature. So that was kind of like the belly of the beast, but that does inspire me. But I was doing it for free. I was giving y'all all my good gems and good
All the good
ideas.
tokens.
And not even just you, just people. Lots of
No,
people. Some great ideas. And so,
Anastasia, I know that you two had conversations, and Anastasia is a wellness life coach who was on the show last season. Will be back this season. We can't wait to have her back up here. But you two, similar to my story, like you were giving her these ideas and these gems, and like now look at her. So I know it's a lot of people that you've
yeah.
touched.
I just believe in people and I want everybody to win. Like if I love you or if I see something in you, then my like driving force, like, let's go. Like, let's
Right.
go. And the crazy thing is I don't do that for myself all the time, which is like, this is therapy talking. So like we have to navigate what that means and the balance for myself. But I love to see people win. Like that inspires me. I love to help people. Um, and I am like the biggest cheerleader. Like never a hater. Like we could be doing the same exact thing. I will always cheer you on.
Facts, and she's right about that. Talk a little bit about therapy and just the and how it's helped you, and because we both have this year experienced those moments of needing to talk to someone else, and I know that it has helped me and guide me along the way. I would love to hear how it has benefited you throughout your journey
Right.
recently.
So this is one thing I'll talk about with Mom Be Well. Is I should have had therapy before I had a baby.
Mm,
I should have had therapy while I was pregnant, because I feel like when you have a child, you're faced in the mirror, right? So every imperfection, every trauma you haven't dealt with, you are now face to face with it because you have a little you, right? And I like lost myself, and it was like slowly, but like before, not that I was against therapy, but maybe it's black culture. It's like, I don't want to tell nobody my business. Like, who they gonna tell? And it's just like
mm,
you keep stuff in the family, you keep stuff within, and you write it out or you get over it, whatever the case may be. But after having a child, it's like, no, I can't do that. I literally like don't have it. I'm doing all these things. I'm working. I have a child, and the anxiety of like having a child, having a black son.
mm.
Um, and so I was like, I need to talk to somebody. I was just depressed. I was like like negative Nancy times 30. And I went to my first therapist, and this is like a really solid story of people that have gone to therapists they haven't liked. And the first therapist I went to, no shade to her, I just felt like I was talking to a homegirl and I was just getting judged.
Oh,
And I don't know, and I was, like, also uncomfortable saying that. Like, I don't know how to say that because 'cause I'm like, I had never gone to therapy. I did not know what it was supposed to feel like. I did not know how it was supposed to be. And so I left, like, with no tools, and I just felt judged. And I was like, "Is it me? Like, am I crazy?
mm,
Like, what's happening?" And I coulda easily gave up. I feel like that some people, they have bad experiences with therapy and they never go back. Um, but I found another one. She is amazing, and what it has done is, like, just allowed me to give myself some grace.
yeah.
Um, realizing that like life isn't perfect. Like if I don't do the 30,000 things that I have planned in my day, that's fine. They're gonna be there tomorrow.
Mhm,
So it's just calmed me in a way. And it's a perspective of like, I need somebody far removed. All right. Because you deal with like your emotions in the day and like sometimes you're biased based off of yourself. So it gives me a perspective of like, okay, let's evaluate this. Let's talk about this
right,
or and just being allowed to have a bad day. Like you can have a bad day, you can feel away, and then you just kind of process it and move forward. So for me, wellness and going to therapy and having a wellness coach, I've done all of that at this point, and it just really has given me resources to like evaluate some of my feelings.
right,
I am not perfect.
right.
So let's put that in. I do not practice all the stuff my therapist tells me to. I get
Mhm.
petty AF. And at least made me aware of that, when I am and aware of my emotions. So to me, therapy is like there, between
It's
God and
gold.
therapy, those two, like non-negotiables for me.
It's gold because that whole thing about feelings is when we spoke, or was that last week or this
Yeah.
earlier this week, and you were like, "So why are you feeling that way, Jared?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm just feeling it." And I've had to learn how to sit in those feelings and,
Never
but then
comfortable.
also examine them as well, because if you don't, you can't push forward. And I'm sure therapy has helped make you make a lot of these bold decisions to get to where you are at this moment. Because I really think, and therapy is important to help you push through to the other side. Um, Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody and get it out.
Right. And not like a home girl. Because I mean, again, I think that we all judge. We're judgmental people. It's fine. Like we have our own biases and opinions. And so when you talk to friends sometimes, whether they do it on purpose or not, it just doesn't always help. And sometimes you just need somebody to listen. You don't need nobody to give their opinion about what they would do and how they would do it and whatever. And so that was a big thing for me. I was a mom. I was just like, I'm not doing anything right. And so I needed to like,
And
because
that's a horrible time to be feeling like that. You need all the people to support you and make you feel
yeah,
at
it was. it was interesting, and moms will laugh, but you get a lot of people's opinions,
Mm,
whether they're asked for or not. And if you're already in a mental space of not being good, or you're like
mhm.
on the breaking point, which I think I was, that was like, I'm about to go crazy. Like, I'm not doing nothing right. Like, I'm not holding my kid's head up. He's not eating enough. Like, there's 10,000 things that you could feel. And I think people have to be careful. So I'm always super careful if you just have a baby. Like, I don't, if you ask me, I'll give it to you, but I never try to like jump down your throat with stuff because I understand how overwhelming that could be.
Once again, I take my hat off to all the mothers, especially Black mothers across the land, 'cause I know it's not easy, but you guys do it with such grace and such beauty that is just so freaking amazing. Um, Greatest accomplishment so far? Tell me.
Greatest accomplishment. Oh my gosh.
Because
Whew.
we are a little, we getting an age, like we gotta enjoy the fact that we're getting older, and we've all done certain things. Like I think we look at our lives like, oh, I still haven't done much, but we've done so much. So what have you done as that you feel like, you know what, yeah, I did something.
Ah man. Okay. Um, this is gonna sound cheesy, but I birthed my child. That
Yes.
was like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I've accomplished some things. I'm very proud of some things that I've accomplished, but like giving birth to my son, um, was the greatest gift and greatest accomplishment because it's not easy. And I like, yeah, I will. That's number one in my book.
And how is KJ doing today? KJ is Shannon's son, and he is our manager. He's at all the brainstorm meetings.
Yeah, he's good. Like, I mean, he's 3, and they tell you the terrible 2s, 3s, whatever they call it, because there's always a name.
Mhm.
He has so much personality. He's a Virgo.
He's a Virgo too.
He's a September Virgo. I'm an August Virgo. There is a difference, even though people try to act like not, but there is. He's very stubborn, and I laugh because I'm like, it's just very interesting when you see your child like take on some of your characteristics or your traits.
I bet.
And this is why I say you got to go to therapy because if you don't know yourself, you don't know your triggers, you don't know your trauma, when you have a child, boy, do you figure them out real quick. And so
Mm.
there's certain traits I would not like him to have. Um, but you are molding a human being that's going to go out into the world one day, and you do your best. That's really we're all humans. I do the best that I can do.
Yeah. What's the legacy you want to leave behind for
Besides generational wealth, okay,
KJ?
that's number
All the
one.
money in the world.
I feel like you know the um the non-black community. Let's put it that the non-black community do a different job when they're raising their children. And I don't, and this is no shades because I don't want it to come across shady, but I don't want the first part of his 20s or whatever to try to figure out his finances or anything like that. I want him to understand money. I want him to have a savings. I want him to start on the right foundation because there's enough that he has to fight for in the world. Like, why have to start that on the bad floor of like not understanding debt and not understanding credit? And so my whole thing is the legacy I want for him is to have that generational wealth where the money part is not an issue for him. Um, I just want I want him to be fearless. So that's the legacy I want. I don't want him to question whether he's good enough. I don't want him to second guess any vision or goal he has. I want him to be able to go after it, full force headed, like and do it and have that be a thing for him. So that's what I'm instilling him now. We do the affirmations in the morning.
Perfect.
We his last name is King, so he is a king. You are royalty. You are capable. You all that stuff he gets taught early because I think that you don't realize it, but you look back in the day and like I question myself a lot. We question ourselves a lot, and I don't want that for my child. Like I don't want him to second guess, be like, "Oh, am I capable?" Like, no, you are. Do it. That's what
Right.
you want to do. Do it. So that you get to redo some things that you don't like about yourself and your child. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good little so that you found the reset, but so the reset button is actually through your children.
I mean, you don't want to like drill every imperfection that you have in yourself onto your children because I don't think that's healthy.
I
But
don't
things
know. Sounds like
things
trauma
that
bonding.
right. So, but you also realize some of the stuff that you struggle with yourself, and you're like, okay, I want my kid to be confident. I don't I no, no one's gonna tell him who you are, you're gonna know who you are. No one's gonna be able to sway you or, like no, you are who you are and you could do whatever you want to do.
Now, I know KJ will have the generational wealth to go to college. But when you and I went to college, we had to speak to a sis back in the day. Her name was Sally, and now we're dealing with her big brother, no, her baby's daddy, Navian.
Yeah.
Um, do you still think, and just once again circling back with KJ, do you still think college is important? And if KJ came to you saying, "Hey, I don't necessarily want to go to college," like what do you think that you how would you handle that conversation, and what do you think about the college experience now within COVID and just knowing about debt and stuff? Like, tell me what you think about that stuff.
So I ironically, I don't think college is for everybody. I don't think that's like end all be all, right? Um, the only caveat is I feel like yes, I was in a lot of debt. Am in a lot of debt from poor life decisions with Sally. But I think that the college experience that I got. So I remember my mom, like when I was younger, like she did not want me to go in state. She's like, "You leaving Connecticut?" Like, I did not, and I was like, "Yes, I am," because I want to be home. So I didn't apply to any in-state schools. Um, and so the college experience I would never take that back. So, like, yes, I'm in a lot of debt. So I would have financially done a couple things differently. Absolutely. But I would never take that. I don't think I would be the person I am today if I didn't go to Temple University and do all the things I did there and run the radio. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the experiences I got besides the debt was well worth it. But if my son came to me and said, "Mom, I don't want to go to school," okay, but you're gonna have a plan.
Mm.
You're not gonna live off my money for it. Like you're gonna work. Like that's I'm not gonna raise a child that's not gonna work for something. But I don't necessarily think if he doesn't go to college, he won't be successful. I mean, I think we've seen that in today's
Clearly.
world that you don't need it to be successful, but you absolutely need a plan and you need to know what the plan is and move forward accordingly. So, but again, he's gonna understand finances. He's gonna understand the debt. I'm not saying debt is bad. There's some good debt, but you need to be able to afford to pay off your debt.
Right.
So
Yeah, there's some good debt there. Tear up all the credit cards, cut them all up.
yeah,
Don't
like,
let don't listen to the bank.
understand what it is, because all of that, again, this is like my full-time job. I now do financial literacy and things like that, my 9 to 5. But, you have to understand your credit score. Like, you need a credit card. That helps your credit score. Credit score gets you a house, but you can't have a debt to income. Like, those are debt to income, your credit score, like, all that stuff, he will know. I'm
Right.
not playing.
And it still was. I'm saying it still was all a setup to begin with. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy that it's just a setup. Um, well, all the accomplishments that you've had with KJ and not your enemy brand, Mom Be Well, visionary. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Can I say this on podcast?
Yeah, definitely.
So
It's your podcast. What are you talking about?
it's like, am I gonna drop this bomb or not? I don't wanna work a 9 to 5. 5 years from now,
Facts.
mm, I don't wanna do it.
We'll be doing this all day, every day.
Yeah, I feel like I've paid my dues in many ways, so I don't wanna work for anybody else but myself,
Facts.
and work with other creatives and build generational wealth. So, in the next 5 years, I am hoping to not be at a 9 to 5 anymore. I'm hoping that Mom Be Well is set and the platform is up and the content is there and that I've connected with other moms and helped other moms because that's again mom realness, mom love. That's Mom Be Well. Um, Continue with visionary and just helping other people, other businesses, other brands with creative ideas and concepts and that help grow them. I'm gonna throw this out there. I should be a mom of two in the next 5 years. And yeah, I just wanna be my own boss. I feel like it's a long time coming. Like boss lady was in college and it's been 10 years.
Least, yes,
So
and you're still what you're currently walking in that boss lady role because bossing with you bossed up with all everything that you have going on with you, so you're always going to be a
I
boss
just
lady.
no more fear, man. No more fear, no more
Oh,
hesitation. It's
there's
just like I'm in go mode. So any idea that I have and I want to take on, like it's gonna be a lot, but I'm gonna do it because I feel like the end reward will get me to where I want to go.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, Shannon, we are wrapping up. Where can the people find you if they don't already know where to find you?
No, I got so many social medias at this point, though. You can follow me at Visionary on Instagram at VisionaryCCB. You can also follow Mom Be Well if you are a mom or you know moms. Mom Be Well, MOMBEWELL on Instagram. And then I have a website as well, visionaryccb.com. And Mom Be Well, MOM dash B dash well.com.
Perfect, perfect. Well, this has been amazing. This was such an honor to do your Not Your Enemy Speak Out session. I'm your boy, Mr. Jared L. White, with the lovely, gifted, talented, beautiful Miss Shannon Reynolds. We'll hit you up next time. Make sure you guys follow us on the IG, Not Your Enemy brand. Also, like and subscribe our YouTube page, Not Your Enemy brand as well. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye, guys.